This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to McGowan's Canvas Miracles again. Today we're here with another great guest from our community, Coleen Kenny from Helping Hands. Well, she actually formed Helping Hands, which we're going to talk about today and all the great work they're doing. And in our community, and I like the name Helping Hands. It's kind of that's what we all should be doing, right? That's what the whole show's about, the premise. And we're going to spend some time today doing a painting. You never painted before, have you?
Nope.
So that's going to be fun. We're going to do something simple, something you can do with your kid. So actually, after you watch the show, this is I put together a painting today you could do with a kid after school at home, and we could have some fun. Just a light, easy, fun time. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Coleen Kenny, lived in the Miramichi most of my life, except when I got married. I moved over to Oromocto, lived there for 35 years. Came back here 2011. Lost my husband in 2019, and you know, then you want to do something special, and I just decided that, influenced by Jeremy's mission, I had to find out what that was all about, and just did
Jeremy's mission, yeah, that's, well, yeah, she has a way of getting to everybody. I remember one day, there's a certain spot I go down for sunrise every morning. I write poetry.
Oh, yeah?
And this is a few years ago when she first started. And I'm sitting there in the same spot where she does the mission there. And I'm writing and do my prayers and meditation, that kind of stuff. And this car pulls up, clunk, 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 little steam coming out, rusted around the wheel. And I'm like, what's going on here? and she gets out. And we're going to have her on in a couple weeks, so you'll love to meet her. She's a great lady. And she starts handing out these sandwiches to people, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And it just showed the heart of people. And her son had passed away and got her started as well. So we'll talk to her about that. And she inspired you to get going.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's incredible.
Yeah,
that's
I actually went over. Actually, was at a coffee shop at the Creative Grounds, and they were talking about Jeremy's mission. I said, they were telling me what she was doing, and I said, wow. I said, we need something like that on the Chatham side. So I decided to go up and check it out and talk to her and how she did it. So I was planning on doing the same thing. I had a car as well that had a good hatchback on it, and I bought all kinds of different utensils that I'm going to need for making this and making that and so on and so forth. But I needed a place a kitchen. I'm living with my daughter and in the basement, and I just didn't think I could use her kitchen for what I wanted to do. So somebody said to me, well, why don't you check with the Knights of Columbus? They have a kitchen in their building. I said, okay. So I called and made an appointment, met up with them, and he said, sure, yeah, you can use it. I said, okay. I told him what I was planning on doing, having it out, making the stuff here, putting it in the back of my car, and off I go, looking for people to give this food to. He said, well, why don't you use the hall here? He said. I said, really? I said, they can come in and sit here and eat? He said, yes, of course. He said, that's what we do. He said, that's what we want to do. So that was in December, and so people were saying, well, you know, December's so busy, let's wait till January. So we just had our yearly anniversary, January the 23rd, and I say it's been a success, although we'd like to have more people. We would love to have more people. We've had as many as 24. Lately it's been like 15, 16, that type of thing. So most of the people walk, and it's too cold to go out. Sometimes it's too cold to go out in the real cold weather.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we should paint while we go along.
Alrighty.
So we're going to let the customers know. All we did was we put some blue and white on the canvas. Doesn't matter what kind of blue, what kind of white. Just put some blue and white, some globs on the canvas, and we're just going to rub that all together on the canvas and get a blue-white canvas going on.
All right.
So now Helping Hands, so people know it's not just about helping the homeless.
No.
You have seniors and people that are on low income.
Low income.
And they come in, and it's more about, I mean, you get a sandwich and food and stuff like that and feeding people, but I've even had my dad start going there because he's going through a bit of can't remember things in life and Alzheimer's, and he's sitting at home in an apartment all alone because we don't have room at our place. I live with a brother, and we just don't have room for him.
Right.
And so he doesn't get to see people very much, so I decided to have him come over there and have a chance to have a conversation.
Meet people.
And he's loving to go in there
Yeah.
and talk with people and
It's
just
a
get out
little,
of the house.
it becomes a little community. Like, we know everybody by name. I know them when they're coming in the walk, what they take in their coffee or their tea or whatever. You get to know them personally.
Yeah, and there's
I
no
love it.
cost to them at all. They
No
just come,
cost,
have a
no.
sandwich and a talk in a warm place
Yeah.
where they can conjugate and start to,
Just socialize.
Yeah.
And talk about this, that, and the other thing. We won't mention any names, but some politics involved, but
oh yeah.
not enough
I
religion.
noticed that at the table the other day.
Yeah,
There's a
not
bit of
enough
that going on.
religion, unfortunately, but that'll happen. When the times come, that'll happen.
So that's awesome. And
Yeah.
so when you started out, did you have the idea that that's how it was going to work, or you just started out to feed people? and-
Just to feed people. That's how it started out, that we were just going to, like I say, I was going to do it in the back of my car, so the weather didn't bother me or anything. I knew it was going to be cold, but now that I think of it, my gosh, wouldn't it have been awfully cold? But
Oh, yeah,
does
for sure.
Jeremy's Mission still do it out the back of your car?
Yeah. We're
Okay,
still doing it
yeah.
out of the car. I have freezers at work where they come and pick up food and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
And
doing
like,
great.
I know some people, like some of the seniors, that they're a little shy about coming, thinking that it's, they shouldn't be coming, but they should be. I mean, it's for everybody. I mean, we want to help as many people as we can, And the Knights were very generous, not only with their electricity bill and the hydro and all that stuff, with people staying there for 2 or 3 hours, 2 hours anyway. Well, I'm in there at 8 sometimes and leave at 11. We used to leave at 12. But so I mean, and they were generous to get us started. Like, I was planning on doing it financially myself, and then when Rose joined, I had already spent $200, and she said, "Well, Coleen, I'd like to be part of that as well." So she said, "Okay." She said, "How much do she said, "How much do I owe you?" And I said, $95 will do the trick. So we went half and half, and then we started. We had to buy food and all that stuff. But then the Knights also was very generous with us and gave us some money to get on our feet and so on, which we had no idea that was even going to happen. But that's just the way it is, eh? Like, people are generous. And then people would bring in, somebody make a big pot of soup or stew. We've had people make baked beans, and so you'd have your breakfast sandwich and beans, that type of thing, and cakes. I mean, and it doesn't even have to be cooked food. It could be a case of water. Like, most all of them drink water all the time, and whether it's summer or winter, case of water. Those little things of puddings or juices, those things are all useful. You don't have to be able to bake or even make a stew, or it's just some of those things are even more valuable. Napkins, expensive. Napkins are expensive. And we go through a lot of those, eh?
And coffee cups, I imagine.
Yes,
Yes.
coffee cups as well. We always get those at Costco, but they're $25, whatever. And yeah, anything like that. So that's always an asset if somebody gives those things as well.
And you're located in Chatham at the Knights of Columbus Hall. For everybody knows, that's on King Street, right?
67 King Street, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get you to take a round brush here.
Alrighty, where will I put this?
Just set that in the water.
In the
Clean that
water,
up,
okay. Round brush,
yeah.
okay.
And let's make some kind of moon. Sort of just,
A moon? Half moon?
no,
Full moon.
full moon. Just make a
Okay.
circle right in the middle.
Alrighty.
It won't show up at first, but that's okay. That's just the blurry.
So in that, the generosity of, not only the Knights of Columbus, but also St. Vincent de Paul, like these are organizations that want to help the poor, the hungry, the naked anyway, right? So they're always with us. Also the Rotary, the Chatham Rotary is good as well. Where was I going with that? Okay, so basically, I try to give back to them. So I will volunteer, like for instance, they have Sunday night bingo, so I'll volunteer there in the kitchen to, canteen actually, to help them out there.
Okay.
The Knights.
Yeah.
And my daughter and also Rose, they come here and do the Tuesday night bingo.
Oh, right here in the Rogers building. Oh, wow.
So it's just things like that. See, it multiplies, eh? Like they help me, I help them, and so on and so forth, so.
I noticed that. So in each community, so every person that I've talked to, like even Claudette, when we first started there, she's like, I don't have anything. And now, through connecting with Pastor Ray and Pastor John and different pastors we even have, all the churches have a freezer now with food in it and things like that. So we're working on ways that there's always food for the homeless and start making sure that we can get that done. So that's an incredible sort of evolution as it goes along.
Just like a drop of pedal in the water, right?
And
it was actually Pastor Ray that designed my little design for my helping hands. The 2 hands, 1 hand here, 1 hand here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's his design.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And we, Life Radio is a big help. They're always influenced, and what we do is they like to have different people on and interview them in the community.
Oh, yes.
And that's always been a part of, it was one of the reasons I wanted to start this show, sort of expand that and bring art and awareness to the people that are, because it's the grassroots things. We have a lot of politics going on, and I have big politicians and big names in here, and they come in and they tell their big side of the story, but I'm always more impressed at how the little people underneath are really doing all the work.
This would be something nice that you could come and do someday with our group.
Yes,
Eh?
that's true. I got to find some more time in the
I was going
day.
to say I have to buy all the stuff for you and everything, but
Yeah,
it'd be something to do. Well, not all of them would be, but some of the women probably would do it.
Yeah, so now we're going to take some black.
Same brush?
Yeah, take the big brush.
Okay.
It's actually Payne's Gray. I don't use black. We call it black because it looks black. And we're going to go from the corners in, just sort of shade out a little bit each corner.
Too much water in my brush, I think.
No particular rhyme or reason, just a little bit of black coming in the side. The minute I tell somebody they're painting a certain thing, then they get all worried that's not going to look like what they want. So I say just blob some black in there, and we'll see what turns up. The hardest thing about painting is putting on the brakes. So it's like I was talking about this the other day with somebody. I do a lot of motivational talks and tapes and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so all motivation's about go, go, go. Get up in the morning, get up early. You got to work hard. You got to do your thing. But what they forget is there's 2 parts to your car. You know, if you're accelerating all the time, it's not going to work out well for you.
Right.
You got to have a brake. So you got to end up using your brake and learn to stop and learn to slow down and analyze. What am I doing? Am I actually making a difference?
Am I going anywhere?
Yeah. Am I going anywhere? Am I impacting myself, the people around me? What's happening? And was it where I wanted to go? So putting on the brakes in life is really an impactful way to get an understanding of where you're at. Because we can always change. People are so afraid of failure that they can't figure out, what to do.
Take a chance, eh?
Yeah, they think, I can't do that. I'd never be able to do that.
Step into the deep.
I hear it in every paint class I do. I can't do that. That never happened for me. So we start out paint classes by getting rid of that old bad habit of thinking, I can't. Everybody can fail, I tell them. Because if you fail, you know what? You learn something.
That's right.
But if you quit and you don't do it, you don't learn anything. You'll never be able to do it. So let's go fail together.
Yes.
So I'm always like, just throw it on there, get something going, and we'll figure it out and start failing. And everything, it's the old adage, Reggie Jackson was probably one of the greatest hitters in his time, hit more home runs than any other player, but what they don't know is his other stat was he had the more strikeouts than any other player.
Okay.
That meant every time he got up to the plate, he was swinging. You weren't walking him. So in order to hit the big home runs and do things, you got to strike out a bit. You got to have a little bit of a chance, take a chance in life. So what about personally your story? Is there anything that, what do you think inspired you to be this kind of person, to help out and make a difference?
Well, I guess it would be the Lord for sure. You want to do helping hands would be his hands. We're using his hands, we're using his feet to do all of these things, right?
Yeah.
I think that would probably be a major part in making a decision like this, is you want to help people and you want to do good, and I guess that's about it. Would be, yeah. I just don't think about it really.
Yeah.
You know,
So growing up, did you have struggles as a kid, or
struggles as a kid. Well,
did you grow up in a rich family, well-off family? Were you poor?
oh no, middle class.
Middle class?
Yeah, middle
Okay.
class. I was adopted, so that was when I was a kid. You know how mean kids can be. They're getting too personal here, but I think that probably might have influenced me a bit, because I think I've discovered that myself, that even in my working career, I always had to work really, really hard, not to impress anybody, but just I had to work to prove myself that, hey, yeah, sure, she was adopted, but she's still a good person, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I know it sounds strange, and I shouldn't say that. Probably shouldn't even say that, but yeah, great parents.
Was there ever a time when you felt hungry?
No, I don't think so. No.
No, but you
No.
still managed to want to help those who feel hungry.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, how you think you don't. I don't even think about it. Till you mentioned, I don't even think about it. I just wouldn't even have thought about answering a question like that, because it just didn't come into my head. Like it's.
Yeah, well, sometimes I've different guests and people, as they've done things or started programs, some of them have backgrounds where they struggled, or they were hungry, or there was something.
Yes,
And
I see.
they wanted to make a difference. And so I'm
yeah.
always curious what influences people to be the best of themselves. I think it was Matthew McGowan. He wrote a book called Green Day, and somebody asked him who his hero was, and he said that my hero is me 5 years from now. He says, because I always should be improving to be my better self. He says, I don't want to be anybody else. Nobody's going to live my life or my dreams. I want to be me. So how can I be better than I am now? And that's my measurement. And he says, and you never reach your expectation, because 5 years from now, I'm going to want to be my hero 5 years from then. So he says,
Okay.
you're always trying to improve.
Strive.
So now we're going to take little bits of the black and just leave spots of black.
On all these
Yeah,
spots.
just sort of touch into those black spots with spots of black. What we're trying to do here is just create depth and all kinds of little things happening. Something simple that even your kid could come home after school and have some fun.
They're great for the grandkids. Yeah.
Yeah, and your grandkids. I was the other day, my grandson was over, and he wanted to. Well, I shouldn't say the other day. Christmas time goes by so fast.
Yeah, right, you're
It's
right.
Christmas time, and my grandson was over, and he wanted to do something for his dad for Christmas. So we got him painting one of these little paintings and working on that, and he just loved it,
I bet.
because at the end of it, he could actually accomplish something.
He could have something to show, right?
Yeah.
I did that.
So when you're talking with the clients and I don't know if you call them clients or the people, the friends that you get
We're
to
trying
know.
we're trying to establish what we're going to call them, but I call them friends.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when you're talking with the friends of the Helping Hands and the people that are sitting around and enjoying, your hard work and the things you do, what are some of the stories you hear? Some of the hardships or some of the things that you think, oh, I wish I could help with that.
I think they're pretty private. They don't seem to share too much, other than one guy likes to talk about the politics and all that stuff, But and you really, and I am an inquisitive person, but I made up my mind when I started this. I am not going to be asking questions. I think if you ask questions, that's the first thing that's going to drive people away. Personal questions. I might have said something like a couple of them, like they're living out in Cole Street, and I said, well, have you thought about, getting another place, because social services will help you, get an apartment or whatever. That's about as close as I've ever got to talking personally with them. But I don't find, they may talk with themselves, because they're out there and we're in here. And there are a few times during the day or the morning that we'll go out, one of us will go out and just see what's going on, But as far as them sharing any private stuff, I don't find they do that. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back after this pause, and we're going to continue our painting and our talk about helping hands and things going on. So make sure to stay tuned and come back again.
Looking for your favorite home renovation shows?
They know what they want. They don't know where to find it.
We do.
Look right here.
Only HGTV has all new seasons of Celebrity IOU. The Flipping Mooses.
Blowing away the competition.
Divided by Design. Hometown. My Lottery Dream Home.
I'm gonna get you your dream house here.
And more.
Oh my goodness!
You like that?
Watch them all only on HGTV. Get the latest on Rogers Xfinity.
Leonard Thompson, 13 years old, diabetes mellitus, 65 pounds.
Starve the child to let them live. The treatment's as cruel as the disease. It's a death sentence.
Dr. Banting.
This could be it.
He's the first to receive this trial.
But will it save him?
It's not pure enough. So we try again. And again. And again.
Before the discovery of insulin, diabetes was a death sentence. Banting, Best, Collip, and McLeod's breakthrough has saved millions of lives. Leonard Thompson's was the first.
Welcome back to McGowan's Canvas Miracles, and it will be a miracle if we get something finished in this little short period of time, won't it?
Yes.
We're here with Coleen from Helping Hands, and having a great talk today about different things going on. So we're working on this fun painting, just about letting loose. So the one thing I noticed is that on the edges, you're just making a little tight circle. So when you take the black, just break off the edges, have some fun with it.
All right.
Yeah, make it not so tight and so symmetrical. So take this one, break it out, have it bigger than that one, and this one littler, you know what I mean? Just smash it
Like
around.
that?
Yeah, have some pieces
Okay.
coming out. And throw in some good chunks of blacks. When you go on, just go like this.
Okay.
And leave it. So with paint and pigment, every time you put paint on your canvas, the next time you hit it, you take color out of it.
Ah.
So an artist's goal is to just hit it once and try not to go back to it. So we want to just hit things and move on, let it dry. If we don't like it, we can go back and alter it later.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're looking like we got some fun going on. And just make sure you connect them into the big parts. And then you're all set. Looking good. Now, when you were, did anybody ever influence you in life? What's your biggest influences? What motivates you to do good? I know God and church and religion, but is there any kind of speakers you listen to, or motivational guys on TV, or girls, or certain, even pastors, whatever, anybody who might just makes you get up and think, oh, I like listening to them. It really gets me going.
Yeah, well, years ago, when I first came back to the faith years ago, I used to listen to, oh my gosh, Joyce Myers, okay?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I don't listen to her now, but I used to. And Stanley, what's his name? What was his name? Stanley, last name was Stanley. Anyway, he was, when I first started, I had all their tapes and all their videos and all that stuff, but now, I don't know. I don't really have any influences now. I'm a very boring person.
Very boring.
Very
well, I don't think
boring.
it's boring to be going in and helping out, and feeding people, and putting people together. And maybe partly it's for yourself. I know a lot of stuff I do. I did a big bike run last year. A lot of things is about what's the next level. I want to help, but at the same time, I want to always push myself. What can I do different? So what do you do to push yourself? What are your goals, your aspirations?
Well, I don't know. I think at my age, I think my goal is probably just for the helping hands right now. I mean, I thrive on that. I just love
Makes you
getting
feel
up.
fulfilled and
I
happy.
just, like
it's
even
a
when
great joy.
when we're finished the day, the morning, it just feels good. Like if you've had 2 extra people, how nice that is. We talk about that, how great that was, and it just feels good to be part. It's a whole different thing. It's not the same as going shopping and seeing people shopping, right? It's a different kind of people that we see, and we learn to love differently, right? Because these people, I don't think that's the right word to use, these people.
These people. Sounds like a Don Cherry canceled kind of comment.
I know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I
these
mean,
people,
though.
yeah.
It's, like I would never have met them if I didn't start this, right? I mean, I wouldn't even known what Cole Street was until I started this, so it's all, it's an education.
Now, Cole Street, when you say Cole Street, people are going to go, what's Cole Street? You're talking about...
Cole Street, that's where the apartments are out.
So it's a lower income area of town where people struggle and they've had real issues with drugs and different things going on.
Yeah.
So,
and not everybody there are drug users, but it's it'd be nice if
it's an area that struggles, though, for sure.
It'd be nice if they could move out of that area. I'd like to do something like that. I'd like to be able to find out who I could talk to, or what arrangements we could make to try to get some people out of there and into different accommodations. Like I would imagine I haven't been in. I brought food there and everything, but I've never gone in to see what it's like on the inside. But I understand that they share the bathroom, they share the kitchen and stuff like that. And how nice it would be to have your own bathroom, your own kitchen, and even if it's only one room and divided into 4 pieces, we need people, we need rich people to see something like that and do something about it. Tear that whole building down, build something there that would be, safer and cleaner and all that.
Inspirational.
Yeah, if I had lots of money, that's what I would do.
Okay.
Come on, 649.
I've heard that prayer before.
Oh yeah, right. That's right, eh? Okay. So what are we doing now?
All right. So we're gonna take. You got a clean one there. Perfect.
All right.
So we're gonna take some white and just whiten up your moon. So.
Whiten up my moon.
Now all of it. So you're gonna leave patch of it, sort of the lighter blue, and just touch around here and there, trying to lighten up some of it. We do this in layers. So with acrylic paint, we want to basically get lights happening. We're painting what's called a silhouette painting, and just having some fun. Okay, a little moon, a little silhouette. No pre-thought, no pre-idea or condition, just something to have some fun. Yeah, so instead of having the big hole in the middle, break it up, sort of have like little islands of white. Sort of like peninsulas and islands. Think of it like the coast. There you go, that's better. Yeah, and then just round up your edges so they get more smooth and soft around the edges. Perfect. Well, for inspiration, I know that when I was a kid, actually I was talking about this story with my mother this morning. Sometimes it doesn't take much to inspire people, children, like those people that are in the room there and sitting down telling a story. Life's all a story. If you can get a good story going, you can really change people's mind and perspective because they can understand the story. I think that's why the Bible's narrated in story and all the great philosophers of the past wrote in stories. But if I want to tell somebody about how to care for somebody, I said it doesn't take much. Well, you can see just from what you're doing with the, like you said, a couple $100, you got started. Next thing you know, you got the Columbus in it, and it creates a momentum, and then things add in. So for anybody who thinks, I can't help in any way, just start. Go volunteer somewhere, do one little thing, and watch where it takes you. It's amazing. I was reading 12 Rules for Life. I don't know if you know this book, but Jordan Peterson. It's kind of he was a school teacher a professor actually at Harvard, but he's from...
I've watched him on video, yeah.
Yeah, and he taught in Ontario, and he had some problems with different issues. But one of his things in his book, he said, we get up and we want to change the world, but we don't even have what we want for ourselves. We He says, sit at the end of your bed and look around and say, if my room was exactly the way I wanted it. So if I sat on my bed, is this the room I wanted? Are these the bed covers I wanted? Is this the night table I wanted? Is this the painting I want to look at when I wake up in the morning? Is it? And if you start thinking about that and just, if I can't change even this little thing, make my place what I want, what am I changing the world for? He says, so if you want to change the world, start looking at it in a small fracture. Say, okay, I'm going to make my dresser tomorrow. Start small. He says, bring it down to something manageable. Say, oh, I don't have lots of money. I'm not, something manageable. I want to make my dresser have nice pictures of my family on it. So which are the best pictures I could have there? Which is the best way I could have my dresser? How can I have my books laid out? And then when you start working on your life in this kind of perspective, all of a sudden you can extend. You know, you get your room cleaned up, you move into the hallway, you move from the hallway out the front door, and you move into the neighborhood facility. And spending time around people and going to places like Helping Hands and Caring Friends and these different organizations where people can get together and talk about what they're going and their struggles and share with people. Other people are going through the same kind of struggles. I think there's more power in that than anything what you guys are doing. The food is great to have a sandwich and stuff like that, but the fact that they can communicate with other people who are going through the same struggles, so commends me. I just love going in there and listening to them.
And you would be a good person to motivate them to talk. I wouldn't be that. I'd be afraid I'd get too personal on them. You know what I mean? Like you.
Yeah, you never worry about it.
The other thing too is with us is the over in the Chatham area we have the St. Vincent de Paul organization. So every Saturday morning they have at the bottom of the basement of the church of the St. Michael's, they have clothing and boots and all that stuff. So a lot of times we'll go over there. I've gone over there and picked up some things that our people are saying that they'd like to have, like, you know, a coat or boots or whatever. So there's another thing that's helpful for the community as well, the fact that you should see the amount of clothes they have in there, and they just can't keep winter coats and boots and all that stuff. But I mean, we will go there and pick up some stuff, and it's all free. It's no cost or anything. It's all free. And it's people what they donate and don't want it themselves, and they're just passing it all along. Good clothes too. And so then we'll bring those over to Helping Hands, and if they don't go in 2 weeks, I take them back. You know, that type of thing. So
that's great.
That's a pretty good thing,
yeah,
eh?
That's a really good orientation. Yeah.
And we've I've volunteered at the food bank here in Newcastle before as well, and that's a good organization as well.
Yeah, they're gonna be on as well. But it's this grassroots stuff. If we can connect it all and have the people say okay. And another thing is I found a lot of them have a hard time getting around. That might be something we can work on and talk to people over
Now they do have they can. I think they have to pay for it though. They can get a bus pass, but it's a reasonable price. I understand.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never used the bus in my life, and when these people are saying, you know, I just have to get the bus. I said, the bus? You know, you got to wait out in the cold. Like, you know, I think it's horrible, eh? But I've driven them around. You know, and that's another thing. That would be another good thing to have if you had a chain where if somebody had to go to the doctor or something, you know, you could call me or call whoever. That's a good point.
So people are always talking about volunteering and how they can help, but even the simple thing like you meet up there in the morning, somebody needs a ride to the doctor that day, something. There's lots of things. Lots of ways to help if we all sort of gather in and you know,
put our heads together.
Don't have to have $1 million to make an impact in your community.
Right.
It's a big joint effort, and I really am inspired by that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's when I was a kid. I was saying that my grandfather. Did I tell this story already? My grandfather fishing.
No.
So we went out on the river, and my grandfather, he always had a way to inspire me. He was a character. Drank too much, was a bad guy. But we go out fishing, and we're out fishing one day, and he's casting his line, and I'm not catching nothing. No, I'm whatever it is, 7 years old, 6 years old. Don't understand why he's catching all the fish. And he looks over at me and he goes, oh, I think it's your rod, maybe. He says, I got to go pee, he says, hold my line. He says, hold my rod. So he gives me his rod, and it's real loose, the line, and he goes over to go pee, and he says, tighten up that slack. I don't want my hook to get caught into the water down there in the rocks. So I tighten it up, and all of a sudden I get a bite. And I start reeling in this fish, and he runs over and says, oh, I can never go pee. He caught another one. and I catch this fish, and he helps me bring it up on shore, and I'm laughing, and he acts all mad, and every time I give you my rod, you're catching a fish. And this happens all day long. He never gets to go pee. He's always and I find out later, of course, that he's putting the fish on the line.
For heaven's sake.
And then when I tighten up the line, the fish is already there.
Oh.
So he's inspired me to make me feel good all day long by doing nothing other than catching a fish and making me feel that I'm doing it.
Oh.
And I thought, little things like that. So when you go into a community and you go to help somebody, you go to do something, you can tell them a story, or you can help them, get them a cup of coffee and sit down and talk with them, and next thing you know, you've inspired them to do just a little bit better.
Oh, yes.
So everybody can make a difference in some way.
Yeah.
And I find that incredible.
And there's a couple of our guests that come that actually, when he gets paid, he's a pensioner. He'll give us the money. And we'll say, no, we don't need it. No. Oh, no, I'm paying my way. He said, no. And he said, no, you guys are good. There's a couple that do that. So I think that's kind of, we don't want to refuse them because it makes them feel
it's a
good
gift,
as well.
for sure.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One more segment after this, and we'll finish up this masterpiece.
All righty.
We'll see you in a bit.
Hi, I'm Lou. And I'm Sue. We'd love to have you join us for our new podcast.
We've got so much to chat about.
It's the Lou and Sue podcast.
Right here on Rogers TV.
I'm Gagweg. My name means everything.
Tom Longboat.
I am Wolf Clan, Onondaga Nation. I've run many different races. I've run to survive and to be free. I've run to win for honor.
His people might be lazy, but this one's damn fast.
My people respected our runners, people who carried important messages from village to village.
I need a guide to the next post. Dispatch carrier, sir. I can get you there.
God's sakes, man, slow down. Who do you think I am, Tom Longboat?
No, sir. I am.
Running makes me feel alive. It's everything.
Tom Longboat was the first Indigenous person to win the Boston Marathon. He ran his way to international fame and became an inspiration to generations of athletes.
Looking for more substance than just flavor?
I'm all in.
Food Network has all new knockout dishes.
Wham!
All new culinary competitions.
I don't like this. I love it.
And all new epic rivalries.
These two want to beat each other so bad.
With all new seasons of your Food Network favorites.
Let's light this place up!
There's nothing else like it.
Yeah, that was good.
Food Network. Get the latest on Rogers Xfinity.
Hi, I'm Bob Lennon, host of the Northern Heat Report. Join me for these inspiring stories of people who have helped make New Brunswick such an amazing place to live, visit, and experience. Don't miss our next episode of the Northern Heat Report right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to McGowan's Canvas Miracles. We're here with Coleen today, and she's been telling us a whole bunch about Helping Hands. Well, great name. I love this name of this organization. And she started it on one side of our city, and we had one on this side, and there's another one on that side. So no matter where you are, and if you're struggling as a senior, or you just need to get together and come down and have a talk, or you need a sandwich or something in the morning, a little bit of food, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's a great spot to sort of gather up. And we've been talking about how it got started and how it's helping people and making a difference in our community. And that's what the show's all about, making a difference. And we're working on a painting today. She had no idea. We had no idea. We just start something, and I say, let's see where we can go in a half an hour and get this thing together. And what's that old Shakespeare line? There's nothing good or bad unless we think it's so. Uh-huh. So it's all depends on what your perspective on it. So the idea behind this was just to be able to, something you could do with your kids, or something you could do after school, or something to just get practicing and have a little bit of fun with. So here, if you're starting to see now, we're looking through a little bit of bush, like a mouse looking through the bush up at the moon. Okay. So where we got the black leaves, we're going to add some little bit shaped leaves. So we'll just put sort of like a spade on a card. So we'll paint these little spades in just to give it just a little bit of detail here and there. So not a lot. With Impressionist art, it's all about letting the mind create something that it sees. It's like when you're driving up the road and you're whizzing by the trees. You're obviously not seeing them in full detail, but your mind is filling it in. So it looks like you're seeing these beautiful sceneries, even at 60 miles an hour, when really you're not, because our mind is that powerful, it fills things in. So that's the idea behind painting, is to create enough on the canvas that when somebody looks at it, they go, oh, that's neat, a thing through the trees looking up at the moon, and make it easy. Did you ever try to paint when you were a kid? Try anything?
I don't remember, no, as a kid. That's a good many years ago, eh?
Were you a sports buff or anything like that?
Well, not as a kid, but my kids were into sports. And that kept us at the rink a lot. Yeah. My son was a hockey player, and my daughter was a figure skater, so...
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So on the end of these little branches, we're going to paint little V's like this.
What are you calling them?
So a V. So I'm going to paint a V, two sides of a V,
okay.
And just fill the branch in. And then it'll end up looking like little sort of weeds on the end of the, sort of like wheat. So we'll kind of create the feeling of wheat. Let's just get this nice sort of, all kinds of things going on. You never know what's going to happen on this show.
That's a good
I think it up as I come in the door. It's like, what am I going to do today? What can I do in half an hour for somebody who's never painted before and just have a little bit of enjoyment. Saying what's really happened in our town. We're not falling apart. We're feeding people. We're clothing people.
Right.
You know what I mean? The whole world isn't falling into disaster. There's a lot of great stuff going on. A lot of great people helping out so many. And I'm proud. The one reason I started doing this stuff on the radio and doing it on this TV show is I wanted to sort of emphasize that there's good going on in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what's going to be happening next and how people can help. So thinking on that key, is there something people can do to come out and help down at Helping Hands?
Yes. Well, we're always looking for donations, and whether it be monetary or bake a cake or case of water, whatever.
Oh, that's great.
That's always welcome, and there's somebody there. Well, let's say 9 o'clock. Let's say 9. I'm usually there earlier, but they just have to come. The door's open. Come in the door, knock on the door. We're usually in the kitchen, so we can see somebody who's coming by. So we just run and open the door. So, yeah, I mean, we appreciate.
So that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They could drop it off.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, we were donated a knight actually bought us a fridge. We had a crappy fridge before, and he bought us a new fridge. Well, secondhand, but regardless. So it's wonderful. Now we can actually freeze things. We were freezing things in the other fridge we had, and we went in one day to use the food. It was English muffins, and they were all mildewed because the fridge wasn't working. So anyway, so he was kind, and he said, well, I'll buy you one. So when somebody was moving out there at the base, and he bought it for us, and that works wonderful. So we have guess the point I'm trying to make is we have space now for extra food and that type of thing. Plus, Knights gave us a storage area back, and we have containers out there where I used to have to lug everything home. Like the first couple of weeks, I lugged everything in my car back home. So now we have it storage there. So that's also another nice idea as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we try to stock up when there's sales on. We try to stock up on stuff that lasts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that type of thing. So yeah. And people can come and just see what it's all about. They don't have to come in and actually donate. They can just come and see what it's all about. Maybe put their name down and say, hey, I'd like every Thursday I'm available, and we could make up a schedule and let them come in and work. We don't have to have the same 5 people all the time. Maybe they'd like to have a break. Mm-hmm. And therefore, if somebody wants to volunteer, have at her. Yes, we'll do it. Yeah.
We're going to take a little bit of white on our stipple brush. So down here, we're going to make it like water's coming in. So we're just going to put a few little sort of lines.
Mm-hmm.
Just some tide lines, like there's some water coming in between the branches. looking great. So now whenever you're doing a line, a water line, try and keep it perfectly as straight as you can.
Mm-hmm.
The minute it bends, it doesn't look flat in the water. So just try and make them sort of flat. See how it's sort of drooping down?
Oh, yeah.
Looking like a smiley face? Just try and keep them straight.
Straight.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, now it's way better.
And on top of the...
Yeah, so that would be good. So now you just move a few down and come down closer to your center.
Want me to go on the side like you did?
Yep. Lovely. And we're going to take the black, and we're going to start moving some of the ground up to the water. Just leaving a little bit of the blue so it looks like some of the water sort of moved in onto the shore. So just go back and forth, leaving some of the blue there. So when you get to the final layer of a painting, it's called the impasto layer. So it's like a thick, you can use your hands, put things on. And at this point, we really want to grab lots of paint and put lots of color in there. Because we want this to be the foreground, to stand out. Stand out like what you guys do.
All the way down to the bottom, eh?
Yeah, so you leave some of that blue in the middle. That's good. So it looks like the water's sort of dribbling in.
Okay.
Which is great. That's beautiful. This looks great. Now we might even take put some more black in here and we'll put a thicker one. Oh, I had some white on my brush. You should always clean your brush out first. Some black, more black on the
I
page.
got lots of black.
And off the front here, I'm going to put some really thick. Now this is, anybody could do this, you know, you could teach your 8-year-old kid to do this, or anybody. Just have them sit down and paint a painting with you and have some fun. That's great. So I would even take some black, and go up and put some big black leaves in amongst your bush up top.
And how do we do that again?
So just
The
grab
V?
some black, and you can splat it just like that. Just take your brush and
Okay.
throw a few black spatters in there.
Just on the top?
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Now we're going to do something kind of fun. Take a little bit of this white on our brush. Now we're going to take our finger and we're just going to lightly, so it sort of looks like snow, but actually it's just going to be stars in the sky.
Where's the paint on your finger?
Yep. So just dab, no, it's on the brush like
Oh.
this, and then you just rub your finger and it'll splatter a few moon and stars up in the sky. Wanna try this? There you go. Give it a shot. Put a little more white if it's not.
Okay.
There you go. That just creates a sort of bit of a star scene up there.
More?
Yeah, sure. You could, depending on how good you feel with this brush, you don't have to do this part, but you could put a little crane out here. Nope. Too wet. Get a little thicker. So just a little beak, little head, and put a little neck on, little body, tail out in the water. All of a sudden I've got a little bird happening in the water. Just with a couple of strokes, something simple like that.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Just a little bit of fun. You know, maybe he's got a
It looks
friend over here
realistic.
with just his head. Pop it in. Easy, easy fun. And then you can get as detailed as you want. You can have more lines, dark black in the foreground. How's it coming?
What's that, moon or sun? Moon, right?
Moon, yeah, it's the moon. Moon with some stars, blue light, looking through some grass up into it. And you can take and soften up the edge of your moon. So if you find you have a hard time picking, I think it was Michelangelo said the hardest thing ever to paint was a circle.
Oh,
He said if you took a pencil and tried to draw a straight circle by freehand, he says the hardest thing you could ever do.
okay.
So you
I believe him.
can soften up the edge, just wet your brush, just sort of wet around the edge of your moon, just soften up the edge. You know how the moon would sort of vibrate out into the sky? Just barely touching it with a light brush. Yeah, that'll soften it up. And if you don't have crisp edges, it's hard for the eye won't focus in on it.
Right.
It makes a huge impact. Yeah, you gonna try and make a little crane in the bottom?
No.
No?
No.
A leaf floating, anything. So take a little white.
White, okay.
Yeah, and
Here.
maybe with a thin brush. Use this one maybe here.
Okay.
And put some rippled waves. So see where your blue's coming into the black there? So just take some white, have it start coming from your blue into your black.
Here, down here?
Yeah, so start about up here and then
Okay.
work your way into the black. Oh, now see how you're going up at an angle?
Oh.
Make sure it's flat with the horizon line.
Okay.
Yeah, always flat. And just wipe it off and then put it back in. There you go. Yeah, so when you put a line in, always make sure it's flat to the horizon. There you go, much better. And then you just do a few down, bring your way into your page.
And smudge it? Yeah.
Yep, and go right across. Yeah, perfect. Good fun. So where do you see Helping Hands? You think it's going to keep going for a while?
Oh, I hope so, yeah. Yeah. I just hope we get more people. More the merrier, right?
Yeah,
More
well, you
people.
got quite a few in there now that it's helping out.
Well, yeah.
So, but you'd like to see the whole gym filled up there. the
I
whole-
would like
oh, wow.
to have, yes, indeed,
Well.
indeed, yeah.
Did you put out flyers letting people know or anything, or it's
Well,
just word of mouth so far?
Word of mouth, I did have some, like the poster I gave you, I have some of
Yeah.
those around.
Letting people know it's there and how
Yeah,
to
like
help
at
out.
the AVZ and, I don't know, I should make a few more actually, and.
Okay. That's another thing, you know,
Now, I
lots
suppose
of
a person-
churches, lots of places,
Yeah,
people
and
be
I
helping,
suppose-
doing lots of those up and
I suppose
passing them out.
a person could put them at the, a lamppost, so that's
Mhm.
legal, I think, I don't know, I've thought of that. I gave some to the, because we didn't have homeless people, I went to the police station, I figured they'd know homeless people and where they are and so on. So I made little cards up and with information, where we're located and the times and so on. And I asked the policeman if they would hand them out, and they said yes, they would. So I gave them about 20, and he said he'd look after whoever's in charge, whoever's in charge of the that area, that they would pass them out. So I can't say for sure if any has. I've even, you can't do that, but I've thought of having people, like seeing people going down the side of the street or something and wondering, I was going to hand out but I'm afraid of doing that and hurting their feelings or something, like maybe they're not homeless and they're just,
Yeah, well, you can put that on the flyer, even if it's not just for the homeless, it's for people to
Yeah.
come together and,
Yeah, and it doesn't say homeless
meet
on there.
people
Yeah.
and
Doesn't
have
really
a meal.
say
and,
people in need.
whatever you need, whether it's friendship, whether it's a meal, whether it's a place to get warm for a minute. It's just, there's lots of things.
And in the summer, it's a place to get cool because they have air conditioning in there, so that's another bonus.
My girlfriend said she came out the other day from her apartment building, and she was scared to death. There was she goes to work early in the morning, like 5:30, and in the lobby of her apartment, somebody was sleeping, and she didn't know whether it was safe or not. And then she said on the way to work, she felt so bad. She's like, they didn't have a blanket. They were sleeping in the lobby, and she didn't know what to do. But we have places and we have things that are going on in the cities that are helping out. So,
and that's another good point too that you're bringing up is sleeping bags. Those are something that a person, and you have to look for minus 20 Celsius, that type of thing. I have one there that's on -6, so that's not very good for the winter. But I mean, if somebody was going to donate sleeping bags, if they get on sale or whatever, just make sure that they're -20 or -30 Celsius for the winter weather. I mean, those are hard to come by, sleeping bags, you know, that type of thing. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, I want it to grow for sure, and I just want everybody to know about it.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming in, spending some time with us, doing a painting, and all the work you're doing in the city and making an impact. And people like yourself will try and spread the message out, get as many people down. And the more places like they have, like that, so if you can help support, maybe you could talk into the camera and just say, come on down and help out at Helping Hands.
Yes, come on down, help me and help Rose and everybody else who comes to volunteer. You're welcome to come, and if it's something that you think you'd like to do, you can come and just have a look. And if it's something you think you'd like to do as far as volunteer, we'd love to have you. We can make up a schedule, whatever's good for you, and we can change. There's 5 people that show up regularly for our Helping Hands, and if you wanted to volunteer, well, they could probably take a break one day or another, and we'd love to have you. So, and if not you, spread the word and tell everybody about us. We're 67 King Street in Chatham.
I want to thank you for coming in, and to everybody who tunes into the show each week. McGowan's Canvas Miracles wants to appreciate you. We finished a show not long ago at the Beaverbrook Gallery, which was a great show, and got to see all the paintings. And so if you have a chance, go online, take a look at them. They're on Rogers regularly, and also you can load them up on YouTube. And as always, tune in every couple of weeks for McGowan's Canvas Miracles.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Ani, I'm Carolyn King, and I'm a member of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the creator of the Moccasin Identifier. Philip Cote, an artist in Toronto here, took and redrew real moccasins. We're starting over with the children. The idea is that they would research whose land their school is built on, near, or what treaty area they're in. And the educational kit that we have has all that information in there. And the children just, I love it. My dream is that this province will be covered with moccasin identifiers within the next decade, and they will forever know whose land they're on. That's the goal. Educate and awareness with a nice, simple little program called the Moccasin Identifier.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
This is a man's heart, a heart in desperate need of medical attention. But because 78% of Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, he may not get the help he needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Every year, dozens of Canadians